Thank you so much, everyone. Our eyes are still on the issue in the National Assembly where Senator Natasha Akpabio has been suspended for 6 months. From what I know about legislative activities and the politics in the National Assembly, that will last longer than 6 months on the calendar. It might, in fact, be up to 9 months, if not, well. Let's get some perspectives now. You've heard the legal angle on this matter. Let's bring in the special advisor to and a consultant to the Senate President on Communications and Strategy, Sir Ken Okolubo, is live for us here in our Abuja. So thank you so much, Ken, for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me, Shane. It's been ages.
It's been ages, actually.
I know.
Thank you so much.
It's so good to see you again.
And you've crossed a lot of waters.
I know.
From being in the PDP, was it Labour Party?
Was it Labour? Was it
Accord Party?
That's where I contested.
Now you're working with Godswill Akpabio.
Yes, 100%.
Interestingly, you are torn in between two families. You're a good friend.
I'm torn between two families. You know, the interesting thing was that Emmanuel Udouan actually recommended me for this job. And so you can imagine I'm the image maker of the Senate President, and Emmanuel Udouan is the husband to Senator Natasha Akpabio.
Were you there on the day that Senator Natasha was talking about, where she accused the Senate President of meeting the idea of returning her to the home to have a nice time, according to her?
Oh, I didn't go to Akpabio. For some reason, I had to stay back. You know, it was December, so I had to stay back with my family. That is why I didn't make that party. There were some reasons I had to stay back with my, you know, I have a young family, so I had to stay back with my family. I wasn't there. But, you know, the interesting thing about it is all these wouldn't have happened. Like I told my friend, I clearly told him I disagreed with his wife. You saw my statement in Punch. I thought she lied about the incident, and I felt it was right to put things in the right perspective. And one thing is for sure, you know, when you can't support the facts, when the facts don't support what you have presented, it becomes very impossible for you to hold on to those facts. Why do I say this? Because of the relationship that Akpabio, my boss, the Senate President, had with Emmanuel Orisejolomi Udouan. His wife was made the chairman of the Senate Committee on Local Content 2 weeks after she came into the Senate on the 21st of November, 2023. And so if she has alleged that on the 8th of December, 2023, what's happened had happened, and he was telling her that there were a lot of privileges to enjoy. What privileges can be more than the fact that we have about 73 or 76 chairman of committees, and she had become a chairman of committee already prior to the 8th of December, which interestingly, they both have the same birthdays on the 9th of December. And so, I mean, the family is intertwined, so I don't want to go into those family issues.
And things are
but
really
I'm looking at the
things
facts,
are really broken
and that is
down
why we should actually look for how we can mend fences at this point.
Just for a moment.
At this point in time.
Let's get to the fact of the matter. There are senators who are saying the crux of the matter was the removal of Senator Akpabio Udouan as the chair of the Senate Committee on Local Content.
That's why I said
Is that right?
That was what I said in the Punch. I didn't put water in my mouth, so I said it. And Lina Ikeji, I didn't tell Lina Ikeji to blow it up, but she blew it up. I was very emphatic about it. Why do I say this? Let me put a question straight. If Senator Natasha Akpabio was still the chairman of Local Content, would she have made this allegation, even if her seat was changed?
Does it take away the fact that she has a genuine grievance of sexual abuse or sexual harassment, allegations of sexual harassment?
Why I don't believe that happened was the fact that I have a trajectory, and I just gave you the fact that she was already committee chairman.
You don't believe, but you do not know whether it happened.
I wasn't there.
Because it's a word of the
That is why I said
against the Senate President.
I don't believe. But if you look at it, on Weibo's account, who was an eyewitness, he was in your studio for the Sunrise Daily program. You know, you're already a lawyer. You know there's something called an eyewitness report. He gave his eyewitness account and said, not only did he come in the same car with both Senator Natasha Akpabio Udouan and Chief Emmanuel Udouan, he also left in the same car with them. And that report it's what you call in law. I mean, that report is beyond reasonable doubt, because he was able to account for all the time that they were together. And I also believe that some evidence is beyond that. But you see, the window of opportunity that the SP gave today, if you look at you on your reports, when you saw he put the prayer 2, a lot of people are unhappy with him. The prayer 2 did not succeed in a lot of people's interpretation. That's giving her the window of opportunity to be able to apologize. But the SP, maybe in his magnanimity, said the eyes have it. So and that gives her the window of opportunity to be able to apologize. And you see, I don't even like I don't even like what the senior advocate of Nigeria was doing here.
She's the aggrieved party here.
What was the grievance? That her seat was moved? But she's sitting on that chair now.
No, but the big question here is that it's because of sexual harassment.
The fact of the matter was her seat was moved. And there was already bottled up anger because she was removed from the local content committee. We have to be realistic. Now, if she didn't go to Brekete and she didn't go to Arise, all this could have been sorted out. She would have, the same way Senator Godswill Akpabio apologized when his seat, he couldn't hear his microphone, and you showed the video. That's all she needed to do. Apologize for the unruly conduct for that day.
It doesn't look to you,
and it would have been sorted out. But by the time she went to Brekete and she went to Arise, we must be realistic. I like to face
Doesn't it look to you that...
I'm happy you know that the husband is my good friend.
Doesn't it look to you, Ken, that she's got a lot of bottled up emotion?
That's exactly what happened.
Just a moment, about emotional harassment allegation that she's claimed.
No, that's not right. The bottled up emotion comes from the fact that she was removed from that committee to diaspora and she wasn't happy about it.
Could that be true?
That's the fact.
That is the insinuation from your side.
That's not from my side. That's the fact.
No, I'm saying from the
side. Senator who was the chief, who is the deputy chief whip and a leader of the House, clearly said the same thing I told Punch. You know why I said that to Punch is I wanted to hold on to one line. I didn't want a situation whereby, you know, my boss would definitely not come and tell you this. Do you understand where I'm coming from? But you see, I have been tested in this whole drama. I am his image maker. I'm his consultant on communication and strategy. The husband recommended me for this position. And at the same time, the test is coming from that side. I always have my integrity. You know, when I served Dr. Allegation as commissioner, I was faithful even till today. Interestingly, when it was his 70th birthday, I was the only commissioner that gave him a full page. So just last year.
Were you torn between loyalty and friendship? That's what you're torn?
Yes. And I had to start for loyalty.
So what did you tell the Alema of Warri?
Oh, I told Alema of Warri that we could settle this issue. And I still insist that we could settle this issue. Because you see, you know why I think we can settle this issue?
So
the fact that the second prayer passed is the only window of opportunity I can tell that this issue can be settled. There shouldn't be any pride. The SAN came here and there is no injunction. What's happened is that there's a court, there's a process, there's a court order. But the court order says that the Senate should come and show reason why an injunction should not be granted. They didn't say they had restrained. You see, the judge was very careful. And you know, when the legislative process has started, you can't stop it now. It's a settled authority. It's only when it has not started you can put a stop to it.
How do you explain this? There are those who are out there who are saying, this is not the first time that Godswill Akpabio, we're having this kind of allegation against him. You heard from the former MD of the NDDC.
And I have spoken to him about it. I wasn't working with him then. And he has his very deep regrets. His deep regrets was that he didn't pursue that matter to a logical conclusion. And he intends to pursue it now to a logical conclusion. You see, one of the mistakes that Trump made was that he didn't deal with the issue of Stormy Daniels. And that's why he's a convict today, even though he's the president of America. And so his deep regret was that he didn't deal with that issue. And that issue will be dealt with. You see, when you decide to say, let's forgive and forget and you move on, then things like this will come back to haunt you. Are you understanding? And so he wants to deal with that issue once and for all.
It's a case of Akpa versus Akpo. Akpabio versus Akpoti.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I disagree with that.
No. As in, there is a popular joke on social media that is a case
You know what has happened? You see, a lot of people are driving traffic because they're making money from it. YouTube is paying them, Twitter is paying them, Instagram is paying them, and so they're finding solace in it. But you see, away from the social media, we need to face reality. The reality of it all is, all Senator Natasha Akpabio needs to do is to apologize. A written apology. She's been giving that window. Anybody that is deceiving her to the contrary is just ruining her political career.
If you take this away from this particular instance and draw an inference to what has happened before, the kind of the manner in which the Senate President has spoken to this woman on the floor before, don't you think there is a historical way of disrespect to the senator?
If you remember, I was on a rise after that incident. I was the only one that spoke about it. And very honest about that incident. When he said it was a nightclub, he meant it was not a place to make noise. He didn't mean to disrespect her, in all honesty. But people found
what he meant and what he said are two different things. So did you hear what he said?
Okay, did you hear what Senator Shomole said today? He said he was on your program, and even though he was convinced, but that his conviction was not enough, he had to apologize because people found it offensive. And that's exactly the same scenario that Senator Akpabio was caught with. What he meant was, like he rightly said, was not what it was interpreted. And he was a statesman. And I was one of those that advised him that, look, this is your friend's wife, and it would only make sense for you to apologize on the floor of the Senate so that people would not misconstrue that you're referring to your friend's wife as a club girl. And that's exactly what he was not doing. He was rather saying that the nightclub was a place you shouldn't make noise. If he had said the marketplace, he would have said he was calling her a market woman. You see, let me tell you, one thing about my boss I've realized is that he has that tendency of joking. In fact, one day, off the cuff, I was telling him that maybe boss should have made a lot of money being a comedian. He said, "Okay, maybe you're right. Don't get me wrong. Do you get?" And people take that for granted and do not understand that when he makes such statements, not about the nightclub, but generally, maybe he just wants to tour the moment. He just wants to put life into what is happening. And it's something that comes to him. But he doesn't intend to do it. And even I can tell you for free that Chief Emmanuel Udua didn't think that Senator Akpabio was referring to his wife as a club girl. I'm 100% sure of that.
That kind of situation,
yes.
When Senator Uwabonyi and you now are saying that the real reason behind all of this rift is the removal of Senator.
But I said it already in
Punch. No, just a moment. Yeah. Just that the real reason behind all of this is Senator Akpoti Uduaghan's removal as the chair of the Senate Committee on Local Content. What is this about this local content?
I wouldn't know, but she felt maybe, I don't know, the Senate President has every reason to move people from committees to committees, just like the way the President of the country can decide to drop a minister and appoint a new minister if he's not satisfied. She wasn't the only one that was removed, but maybe she felt that...
Why was she removed?
I don't know why she was removed, but the Senate President felt a need...
Is it true that...
The Senate President felt a need to rejig the committees, and she didn't feel good about it. But you see, what I think is this is not the right way to go about it. She could have nipped it in the bud if she had an audience with the Senate President, or she have allowed her husband to have audience with the Senate President, since he had an unfettered access to the Senate President. And that's why I'm not happy with the way the turn of events have come. Because the Brekete interview, the Arise interview, just compounded issues. Have you noticed that not even one senator spoke in her favor? That should worry you now.
Let me ask you quickly. With all that has happened, are you aware that there was some kind of investigation on the activities of the Senate Committee on Local Content?
I'm not aware of the investigation. All I know is that people petitioned.
There are petitions?
But there was no investigation.
There are some kind of spotlight already under...
Yes, but there was no investigation. So let me tell you one thing. I am not privy to what happens in executive sessions. And the Senate President wouldn't tell me everything. So maybe there are 13 things he would have come to his knowledge, which I don't know.
Leading to a removal as the chair?
I can't say that for sure.
So, but you're also not aware that a lot of things were said to have been allegations flying up and down?
I saw the allegations, but the Senate President didn't bring that to light. And no committee was set up to investigate her.
Could it have been better if she had been explained to the real reason why she...
that's why she should have sought audience with the Senate President instead of going about it this way. And she would have been given that audience because she's a distinguished senator.
Is your boss aware of the possible repercussion of what happened today?
You see, it's not about my boss, it's about the Senate.
He's his presiding officer.
It's not about him being the presiding officer.
Let me just...
Did you hear what he was clearly told by the senator from Ondo State? He was told that this is beyond him. It's the Senate that was being protected. It's not, it has nothing to do with him. And even if you look at it, when he tried to, somebody actually called me and said, your boss rigged prayer too. Are you understanding that the nays actually had it and not the yeas? You could see that a couple of the senators might not have been happy that he said yea instead of nay. That should tell you that he still used his wisdom to give that opportunity for Senator Natasha Akpabio to write a letter of apology and will be considered because that prayer went through.
From the point of law, Ken,
yes,
you're aware that whatever that's happened between the allegations against the petition from Senator Akpabio against the Senate President, do you think from the point of law and the point of equity, justice and fairness that Senator Akpabio should be sitting as a presiding officer over a punishment and a judgment on Senator Akpabio?
Now, if the matters were not in court, for example, and the petition goes to the Ethics and Privileges Committee, just like the report was presented today, I'm just, for want of time of the program, certainly Senator Akpabio would have to step aside for that report to be presented. He can't be a judge in his own case, and the Deputy Senate President would preside. But we have not gotten to that stage. But so why do you now start insinuating
okay,
that?
so now he is a judge in his own matter. Just for a moment. Just for a moment. The case that took the matter, and part of what Senator Akpabio has as grievance is against Senator Akpabio.
That has been sent to the Ethics and Privileges.
I am asking you that don't you think that Senator Akpabio should have stepped down from presiding over the decision of
the Ethics and Privileges? No, he wouldn't have been able to step down because the decision has been taken. You can't change the report of a committee.
For the fact that his name was mentioned at all,
no, you can't
in
change,
the whole gamut of the
why you can't change the report of a committee? Because
I'm not saying change. I'm saying should he have been the presiding officer over a matter in which he
wasn't the presiding officer today, the prayer 2 wouldn't have gone through.
No, but I mean, I'm saying that
prayer 2 went through because
prayer 2 went through. It's a fundamental.
No, prayer 2 went through.
The fairness.
No, but prayer 2 went through because he was the presiding officer.
The question here, Mr.
There was no conflict of interest here because the committee had set his report.
How would
and he gave all the senators, listen.
You're not listening to my question.
He gave all the senators an opportunity to speak.
Mr. Okolubu, you're not listening to me. If Senator Akpabio is a party in the grievance that Senator Akpabio is laying before the Senate, does it make sense?
But that wasn't the situation. That wasn't the decision.
You don't think morally that because his name is mentioned in the matter?
No, Shehu, you're getting it wrong. It was unruly. They charged her for unruly behavior because she was in fault of order 6-2 of the Senate proceedings. She didn't take her seat.
Should I play a tape for you? Just for a moment.
The fact that have you noticed that when she took her seat,
when
order 10 she was allowed to take order 10.
Just a moment. Do you know the reason why I'm saying to you that the Senate President should have or could have is because when Senator Akpabio was aggrieved when she was not going to be listened to, she started speaking directly and personally to the Senate President.
Because she was not sitting on the seat.
And I'm saying...
now that she's sitting on that seat,
the question I'm asking
she was allowed to speak.
The question I'm asking you is the fact that as soon as Senator Akpabio had started having an issue with Senator Akpabio...
No, they said she had the issue prior to him coming into the chambers.
That is all the same.
But did you even hear that the fact that today the chief whip reported that she was also in violation of Order 55-1, which says that everybody must rise when the presiding officer is coming in, that for 2 days she has refused to rise. She was in violation of that. The chief whip also reported that today. So what I'm saying here in the nutshell is that it has nothing to do with the presiding officer. It all has to do with
It does look like it does have...
It has to do with
the point of view of Senator Akpabio, it has all... No, from the point of view of Senator Akpabio, it does have all to do with Senator Akpabio.
That is it. And not even the
And does look like a personal affair now.
That is exactly what it is.
How will your boss handle it?
Well, my boss has given her the window of opportunity to make amends. I would urge her to review today's proceeding, ask herself some very deep questions. Why did not Senator come to my favor, to my rescue? Why did Senator Ireti Kinjigbe also sign the reports on ethics and privileges? Why did she not come to my rescue? You know, at this material point in time, people will keep urging you on. But when you sit down and ask yourself, why should everybody be against me?
There is a very huge female women community, and there are supporters in the men community also who are aggrieved and angry about what has happened today, headed and led by Senator Akpabio. Is your principal really ready to get head on with these powerful forces?
Those are not privy to the rules of the Senate. I just gave you an example. The chairman of Women Affairs is Senator Ireti Kinjigbe, and she appended her signature to the 6-month suspension.
Does it make it right, Senator, whatever has happened today?
Natasha, it makes it absolutely right. Every senator cannot be wrong. Did you hear what's in the wisdom of Senator Lawan, who was the predecessor to my boss, said? He only made a case for her security personnel not to be withdrawn. When the former majority leader, Senator Ojus Okalu, spoke, he only made a case for her aides not to suffer the same fate as her.
And we understand that our office was shut immediately.
When Senator Shomole also spoke,
is that true?
When Senator Shomole also spoke, he also made a case not for the sentence to be reduced, but the fact that she should explore prayer too. And also, Senator Fada Hunsi was very emphatical about it and felt that there was no need to reduce it. The only person that made a case for reduction was the Senate Minority Leader, Abamoro. And so if I am here in his shoes, I will look at it and ask myself, can all these people be wrong? I believe she should take that window of opportunity, in my own view.
But what about that's unofficial way, unofficial side?
It's not even unofficial; it's official. They're giving her that
yeah, that's
window.
what I'm saying. Because the things are broken down officially and
if she takes that window, we can put all these things to rest, and Kogi Central will be represented. She also realized that Kogi Central will not be represented for 6 months of legislative calendar.
Is it true also that our office was shut? We understand that as soon as
once you're suspended, your office is shut.
And she might be away if this is sustained for more than 6 months.
Yes, and that is why she should take the window of opportunity and not listen to those who are telling her to go and fight. How
will your boss be able to fix a broken down family relationship?
Oh, but you heard him today on the floor of the Senate. If he didn't think it was painful, his wife also alluded to it when she had her own press conference.
Are you worried that working with him, there is a broken down, a dented image of the Senate under Akpabio's leadership?
That is why it worries me, because I'm supposed to be his image maker, and which I am. And so this crisis was turning between my work.
Well, your principal, is he helping your matter?
He's helping my matter a lot, because he listens a lot. We don't have a master-servant relationship.
Senate has not been this badly represented or portrayed in the public.
But that is why you see that the senators. That's why you see that the senators.
Dented.
That's why you see the senators took a decisive action. And it wasn't about Senator Natasha.
It always be remembered that it's under Akpabio.
Nope. This is a Senate that has passed the Southeast Development Commission, the North Central Development Commission, the Southwest Development Commission, the student loan, the credit scheme. There has been no Senate that has achieved what Senator Akpabio has achieved in 2 years.
We're not here for that.
If you want us to talk about that,
we're not,
trust me, you know, I will reel out all those facts.
But Ken, we're totally out of time.
Thank you so much for having me.
He's a consultant on communications and strategy to the Senate President Akpabio. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.